Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is Ephraim B. Martin. I am 58 years of age, and I am a girl dad of 4 adult daughters. Welcome. This is another live stream from Denver, Colorado. Sunday, beautiful day. Getting ready to get into the fall, September the 3rd. Yes, September the 3rd. So fall is right around the corner. Dads, I'd like to welcome you and hope and pray that you had a good week with your daughters, with your children. Okay, fathers, what I want to discuss this week is I want to discuss girl dads equal expectations. You know, fathers, being a girl dad is something special. I'm sure for those of you that are new to fatherhood, or for those of you that have pre-teen and teen daughters and adult daughters, the expectations of our daughters have been tremendous, right? And when our girls were little, when they were born and they first came home to us, we didn't know what to expect, right? As a girl dad, we didn't know what the expectations were. We didn't know what to expect, and we kind of jumped in and didn't know what the expectations were going to be. So I can say, as a father of 4 adult daughters, having been through every stage of development with them and now enjoying them as adult women. Fathers, I just kind of would like to say to you, when it comes to a girl dad and the expectations of being a girl dad, we set those expectations, right? We're the ones that should be setting those expectations. We shouldn't be worried about what the world says or how the world's going to respond to us, because we are the fathers of these baby girls. And whether we have 1 baby girl, 2 or 4 or 6 baby girls, if you're a girl dad, you're a girl dad. And the expectations of a girl dad, we set those expectations, fathers. So I just kind of want to talk about that and, discuss what that may look like. A girl dad setting expectations. Let's talk about when our daughters are little girls, birth to 5 years of age. What are the expectations of a girl dad? Well, life's going to change for us, having a baby girl, and those expectations when they're under 5 years of age, they're going to be changing before our eyes, and they're going to be growing and getting into stuff and being curious and, just being little girls. But what are the actual expectations? Well, it depends, fathers, because we set those expectations, right? I think as girl dads, we really don't give ourselves enough credit for being a part of our daughters' lives when they're little girls, and, their day-to-day, feeding them, changing their diapers, rearing them, interacting with them, and just showing them love as a girl dad. Because our little girls, birth to 5 years of age, they're going to be so curious, and they're going to be doing, running around and growing and changing before our very eyes. We get to set those expectations, though, dads. And that's the beauty of it. There's no written books. There's information, through research, and there are books that could tell us what to expect, but we get to set those expectations, fathers. And setting those expectations for our daughters, birth to 5 years of age, it's a beautiful thing, because we're in control, we're in charge, and we get to guide them, and we get to watch them grow before our very eyes. So setting those expectations, birth to 5 years of age, hey, that's on us. There's no pressure. There's no right way or wrong way when it comes to expectations of our baby girls. So what about, 6 to 10 years of age, 11 years of age. What are the expectations going to be then? Well, when they become 6, 7, 8, they're going to be going to school, getting into kindergarten, and the expectations are going to change. What about at home? What expectations are we going to set for our daughters at home? You know, a lot of the expectations I set for my daughters when they were little girls, being at home, was, teaching them how to clean, teaching them how to pick up after themselves. I think that's very, very important. When they're little, you definitely want to make your home livable for your daughters, and they should always feel safe and encouraged that they're in a livable space. But we also want to, direct them and show them direction, and, teach them how to pick up after themselves, so it doesn't become an overwhelming effort on our part every time they're in the house and they're playing and doing their little girl things that we're picking up behind them. So I think those type of expectations are good. The expectations of dropping our daughters off at school, picking them up from school, going to lunch with them. I went to lunch with all of my daughters when they were in the primary grades. I knew who all their friends were in their neighborhood, and the new friends they were meeting at school. So those expectations were good. So I had a great expectation when it came to setting the bar for my baby girls. I never put pressure on myself to get it right or get it wrong. I always felt like this whole learning experience that I'm going through when they're little, it's such an amazing and beautiful experience. I never wanted to let it go. I enjoyed fatherhood so much when my girls were little. They were so much easier. The expectations when they were little were not great expectations because we get to set them fathers, right? I just learned early being a girl dad because I was a probation officer at the time, and having experience in dealing with other little girls that didn't have fathers. It was an eye opener for me. So I learned pretty quickly, and I had a different understanding when it came to expectations in our daughters, because I was seeing so many little girls in the criminal justice system that did not have fathers, and it was just difficult for them. So expectations, good, bad, absolutely. I don't think there's anything bad about expectations. I think expectations are always good, because when we set expectations, we actually get to help our daughters achieve. We get to monitor their progress. We get to see them through our own eyes, through our own lens. How are they meeting those expectations? Because when our daughters are little, everything is repetition. You do it over and over and over and over again. One thing, fathers, that we girl dads, one thing we never think about as far as expectations is our little girls are going to have why questions. What are the expectations of when our little girls always say, why, daddy? Why, daddy? Why? That's an expectation in itself. Little girls and women need to have those why questions answered. Because if they don't, chances are, fathers, it's not going to work out good for us. My daughters were always asking me, why, daddy? Why? And I enjoyed just watching their development and answering those why questions, and just, the expectations of their schoolwork. I introduced all my daughters to sports when they were little girls. So, just their expectations in sports and just playing with their friends all the time and just doing their thing as little girls. It was amazing, So I think when it comes to expectations, fathers, we really get to set that bar. And it's a beautiful thing because, like I said, we get to control what it looks like. We get to implement, we get to try different things, and we get to see how our daughters are going to respond to the expectations. You know, what about once they get into middle school and, high school? Totally different expectations, right? Middle school expectations. What's going on with them then? Well, I can tell you this, with my little girls, when they all got to middle school, one expectation I didn't understand, which was, always an experience, is picking them up from school and them having 4 or 5 or 6 of their little friends that I all of a sudden was responsible for taking home, giving rides to. Our little girls are going to be a trip. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. The older they get, and the things that they do, it never ceases to amaze me. Expectations that I had of my daughters once they became, young teens and teenage girls was, their continued discipline for school, their continued, my expectation of them to do the best that they could in school every day. All 4 of my daughters are different little girls. They all had different study habits. They all had different learning patterns. They all had different learning abilities. So, that in itself, I had to spend different time with each one of my daughters because they all had learning different styles. And my youngest daughter, she was a young lady that didn't have to study, didn't really have to put forth the effort. Everything pretty much came natural for her, and then my other girls, they're totally different. They had to put in work. They had to study. So it was crazy. But, having and learning the different learning styles of your daughters is a good thing, And like I said, if you're a single father, there's a lot of different expectations with that. You're going to be doing everything. Being married and having, daughters and having a wife is completely different than being a single father or divorced father, because those expectations are going to be totally different, right? But once again, like I said, the beauty of all of this is, fathers, we get to set those expectations. There's no pressure. There's no, there's really no, like I said earlier, there's no right or wrong on how to do it. We get to take our time. We get to be our best critics. We get to be hard on ourselves when it's necessary to be hard, but we also get to, pat ourselves on the back, because girl dads, we're important fathers. We're very, very important in our daughters' lives, and as they get older, they're going to see that. They're going to remember the one-on-one time we had with them. They're going to remember us taking them to get their nails done and their feet done, pedicures, and, all that. That's all part of being a girl dad. I've met a lot of girl dads that said, you know what, Ephraim, I wasn't built for this. And I always tell them, God gives men girls for a reason. Any man that wants to become a better man or human being needs to have a daughter, because that, the gift that God gives us from having daughters, God put out the absolute best from me. I'm telling you that right now. I would not be the man that I am today had it not been for my baby girls. There's absolutely no way. Daughters make you change, because, you get to thinking how you were when you were a little boy, and, being a little heathen you were in the neighborhood, and all the stuff you did when you were in junior high and high school with little girls, and all the lying and all that you told, and no. So those expectations, when God blesses you with a daughter, that's just an unbelievable expectation. And it's just it's such a blessing on so many levels just to have daughters. I actually wanted daughters it would have been cool to have a son, but I actually wanted little girls. Um, because I just believe that as a man, to become better and to become greater, you need women in your life. You need women to check you. You need women to ask you why. You need women because women bring balance in man's lives. Period. There's absolutely no way I would be where I am today without my baby girls. You know, they brought out the sensitive in me, the sensitivity in me. They brought out the compassion, the empathy. I mean, I always had compassion and empathy, but little girls take that to a whole different level, fathers. You know, when they get to high school, you know, they're driving. That's a whole different expectation. You know, then you got to talk to them about being on time, you know, not taking their driving privileges for granted, not just assuming, you know, they get to do whatever it is they want to do just because they're in high school. So those expectations are definitely going to be different. But the beauty of it is, you know, once our daughters get to high school and the conversations that we get to have with them, they're amazing discussions because they're older daughters, you know, and once they get to ninth grade, they got 4 years left before they graduate from high school. So most of our daughters, they're already planning their future, you know, and they've already set amazing expectations for themselves, right? So that is always a blessing. Once again, you know, if I had to raise my daughters all over again, even in this current situation of the world, I would do it the exact same way, no doubt, because I believe in me. I know what I brought in my daughters' lives, so I'm not fearful of what the world is telling me I have to accept and what I have to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. As long as I'm not hurting nobody and pushing my values and my belief systems on no one else, hey, it is what it is. You know, I taught all my daughters how to be spiritual girls. You know, they were exposed to the church. They know the Bible. You know, they're good adult women. So my expectations of my daughters were always to be the best young women you can be. And when you leave the Martin household, you are representing the Martins. I was huge, and my daughters will tell you, I was huge on that. When you leave the Martin household, don't embarrass your parents. Don't embarrass your mother and father. Because if you embarrass us, we're going to embarrass you. That's just how it works. So my daughters understood when they left the Martin household, wasn't no embarrassment going on. Wasn't no craziness going on. The expectation was for them to represent the Martin household the best that they could. And I'm proud of each and one of my daughters, all of them, 4 baby girls, all amazing women. I enjoy them sisters so much, man. You know, and like I said, when they were little girls, it was way easier for me having them all together all the time. You know, I remember going to the malls with my daughters, and I used to have women. I was a magnet for women. I used to have women coming up to me all the time when I had my baby girls. You need help? You need help? No, I'm good. I got this. I know what I'm doing. Because you never see fathers with their daughters one-on-one. And I always had 3 or 4 with me all the time. So, you know, I was a magnet for women. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was crazy. But yeah, I just want to say, fathers, you know, we're in a good position as girl dads. We really, really are. We get to provide a lot of good instruction. We get to be consistent, and that's the key when it comes to expectations. Like anything in life, our consistency with our daughters, it means everything, dads. It means absolutely everything. I'm telling you, the discussions that I have with my adult daughters and the things that they share with me and they bring up from their childhood, I was on point. I was 100% on point. And they validate everything for me. And I'm just so grateful and so thankful for these baby girls that I have, man. And now that they're adult women, it's just like I said, it's good to see them when I can see them. You know, I got to hear their voice. I call them, I text them. You know, they're living their best lives, and I feel great as a girl dad. I did an amazing job with my daughters. They turned out compassionate, empathetic, just good women, solid women, got a good head on their shoulders, love life, love people. They embrace all of humanity. So, you know, I feel great about it. And like I said, I set the bar high for my daughters, realistically. And they all exceeded the bar that I set for them because they were consistent young women, you know, but they had their father in their life, birthed to 18 years of age. So they didn't know any different. They always had me at their disposal, right? So, yeah, fathers, you know, I am a girl dad. And for all the girl dads that are out there, I encourage you, be the best girl dad you can be with your baby girls. Enjoy it, man, because it goes by fast. I'm telling you, you know, they're born, they're here today, and before you know it, they're graduating from high school and they're all going off and doing their own thing and living their own lives, living their best lives. So, yeah, I just wanted to share this live stream and, you know, continue to encourage girl dads to do the best that they can, you know, because it's a journey. It is truly an amazing journey that the gift that God has given us from our children. They are a gift from God. We don't own them. We are in their life because God said so. A true gift. And I've never taken that gift of my 4 adult daughters, my 4 baby girls, for granted. I've always done what was in their best interest. I've always had expectations that they were going to be amazing young women and adult women, and they have exceeded that. So I am forever blessed. And like I said, for those girl dads that are out there who may be struggling, hang in there, fathers. Hang in there, man. There's plenty of resources that are available. Okay? All you have to do is put in the time in research, regardless of where you live in the world. I work with all fathers, regardless of your culture and your ethnic group, because we have a commonality as men. If we are fathers of girls, that's our bond. Okay? All right, fathers. I'm done. This has been another amazing live stream. And as I continue to build capacity for Girl Dad YouTube channel, I want to welcome all fathers, regardless of what stage they are at with their daughters. I want to welcome you all. And I appreciate your support, right? Because this world ain't easy on us. It ain't meant to be. When we have baby girls, boy, we have to step up and beyond, because a lot of times the world is coming for us. The world doesn't want to see a lot of girl dads succeed. The world would rather dictate and tell us what it's not. But I know after raising 4 baby girls and 2 adult women, I know what the world is, and I'm going to hold it at bay. I'm going to hold it at bay, rather, right? Because I got this. And by the grace of God and his continued blessings, I am who I am, and I'm forever blessed. Okay, girl dads, God bless you. Have an incredible week with your daughters, with your children. Keep your heads up. And like I said, let's be the best fathers that we can be. And let's provide that consistency that our children need in their lives, so they can have the balance, so they can continue to make the best decisions in their best interests and not disappoint themselves. Okay, girl dads, I'm out until next week. I'll holla at you. Peace and much love. Blessings. Peace.